Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Juice from Money Sam. I'll be taking about 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 minutes of your time to go over some technical analysis. My company of choice today is Zynga. I'm a long investor in it, so I'll be going over some technical stuff. So first, just refer to my screen. I first want to tell you guys what we have, what indicators we have, so we're just clear about that. So whenever you're talking about indicators, you have upper indicators, these are on the top, and you have the lower ones. For the lower ones, I just have one. It's the RSI, which is an oscillator that really tracks if a stock is oversold or overbought. On the top, I don't really have much. This is just the price movements, and this is the volume. I don't really have anything else. Later on, I'll add an indicator so you guys can see how I use those. So I actually did this chart 2 days ago. Um, and now I'm just checking if my prediction was accurate. So this is what I said 2 days ago, that I saw a bullish flag pattern forming, and I said that on Monday is gonna bounce off support, and Tuesday and Tuesday and Wednesday is gonna approach resistance, and on Wednesday after earnings is gonna skyrocket. So far it's been on par with my analysis of it. But before we get any further, I want to go over just a few more things so you guys are a little bit more aware. So trend lines are lines that are connecting price trends, price movements. So over here I have two trend lines. One that's catching the highs and another one that's catching the lows. And these two trend lines are creating a channel that's uptrending. So it's going up. Over here, the blue and the blue, these are two more trend lines. The one on top is catching the highs. The one on the bottom is catching the lows. And together they create a channel. A channel means that the price is moving within those two lines. So it's channeling up and down within those two lines. Just so you guys know a little bit about what we have here. At the bottom, this blue bar graph, this is the volume. So this is how many stocks, how many shares of the stocks are being exchanged on a daily basis. And the volume goes up and down. You guys can see it right here. So depending on where I move, the volume goes up and down. So this big bar over here had a volume of 72 million. And like this low one over here had a volume of 12 million. So just to get an idea of what information we have. So now, the first thing I want to tell you is, and I'm new to technical analysis, so I'm learning with you guys. But one thing that I want to tell you is, whenever you're doing technical analysis, you want to verify your information. So you want to use at least 3 windows to verify the information. So I'm going to share the 3 windows I'm personally using, because I'm not day trading. I'm doing swing trades. I'm doing trades to set up longer term investments. So I'm not day trading. So I'm using different windows. You use different windows if you're day trading. So for me, this is the daily. And over here, I'm focusing on about 3 months of data. But for the daily, you usually want to look at the year. So I have the year here, but I'm not focusing on the whole year, right? I'm just focusing on the last 3 months. But you want to use your weekly. This is what it looks like on the weekly. And for the weekly, you want to look at least 3 to 5 years. You could analyze that type of data. The weekly. Looking at the weekly, we have a positive trend for the last 5 years or so for Zynga. This is the information this is the stuff that I did for the daily. but it looks weird on the weekly, and that's gonna happen. So we have weekly, and then we have the hourly. This is what the hourly looks like. I'm not really gonna focus on the hourly too much, just because the hourly is more of if you want to get into something, you might want to look at the hourly to see when is the best time to get in. But right now I'm already in this investment, so I'm more of analyzing what's gonna happen next and what actions I need to take. So I'm just gonna look at the daily for now, and that's where we're gonna focus our analysis, right? So if we look at the daily chart for Zynga, the first thing I want to look at is this little red dot down here. That was the last earnings report. That's when they reported earnings. And when companies report earnings, that's going to create a situation where you're gonna have extremes. Um, and by extremes, I mean that the price is gonna move either up or down in an extreme way. Sometimes it doesn't, it stays the same, but for the most part, you have an extreme action happening around that time. And if we look here, this is the extreme, right? We had a gap up, so that means that it closed at 613, and then the next day it opened at 641. So overnight it gapped up. So that's an extreme. And then overall, that day it ended up closing at 673. So from one day to the other, it went up about 70 cents, which is a lot. So we're talking about a big increase in price. So that's what I mean by extremes. So we're focusing on the extremes. So now the next earning is coming up. It's going to be right here. They report earnings tomorrow. So I'm expecting another extreme move. So I'm already an investor. So I just want to get myself mentally prepared for what's going to happen next, so I could decide what to do with my money. So the first thing that I did was I drew this trend line over here, and that was just creating a ceiling. The price did not cross this trend line for about 2 months until up until here. All right, so let's look at the price movement after earnings. So after earnings, it did extremely well. It went up. Everybody likes it. All the investors love it. They're buying it, and boom, at here, people were like, no, this is getting too expensive. So people started selling it, and then it dropped, kept dropping. At some point, people were like, no, it's getting cheap. They started buying again. They hit the same ceiling, right? This is called a resistance. There's resistance here. The price is not going up. People are selling it here. So then it's going down. And people sell for different reasons. It could be a news article that came out. It could be plenty of reasons to sell, right? So then after this hit resistance for the second time in the last 3 months, it dropped to a low. This is a very low point right here. This is 565. After that, it did not test resistance again, but it was close. And over here, it was channeling. So for about 2 weeks, it was channeling, and then it started an uptrend. And it was trending up in a channel. So that's also just something to notice, right? After that uptrend, it hit a new resistance up here, and then it's been channeling resistance, support, resistance, support. So support is an area where investors get in. So it might be because investors feel that the stock is cheap, so they're gonna get in at support. Resistance, again, is an area where investors might feel that it's too expensive and they're gonna sell. So it channeled for about 2 weeks. So one thing to notice, on the channeling uptrend, the volume was going up. So that means that a lot of new investors wanted to get in. A lot of new investors were probably researching it, and they're like, I want to get in Zynga. So it was trending up in a channel, a tight channel. But after that, the blues, right? It channeled, but the volume was very flat. So that lets me know that investors were very undecisive. You know, they were very neutral. They don't know what's going to happen, right? So that's what this channel, sideways channels, tells me. And then here it's also flat. I'm going to explain why this flatness here is important. So after the initial increase to that first resistance level of 785, around there, it dropped and it got support at 723. Then it hit that same level again. This is the second time. And then it dropped to support again. So the third time is going to be a little bit different. What's different about the third time is they're reporting earnings tomorrow after the market closes. So if they report good earnings, I think it's going to push past this resistance right here, and it's going to go into a new high. That's only if the earnings are good. If the earnings are bad, it might drop down to the previous resistance, which is probably going to be around that 690 level. However, I don't think it's going to drop to that level. I think it's going to skyrocket upwards. I think they're going to report good earnings and it's going to skyrocket upwards. So at the same time as I'm analyzing what's happening on the upper level, I have to look at the lower level, right? So the RSI lets me know if the stock is being oversold or overbought. If it's closer to 70, that means that it's overbought. A lot of people are buying it, right? If it's at 50, it's about neutral. If it's at 30, it's oversold. Too many people are selling it. And those three areas tell investors what to do. So right now, luckily, we're not in either extremes. We're going up. So I think this is a good indicator. The volume is flat, so that means that I think we have investors that are bullish on this. They think it's gonna go up. If we would have had investors that were bearish, maybe we would have had lower volume here. But this is ultimately good. So overall, you know, I think Zynga is doing good. I think tomorrow they're gonna really skyrocket upwards. The chart is agreeing with me. So now I just need the numbers, the fundamentals to agree with me as well. And then that's pretty much it. I would suggest that you guys stay away from this investment because it'll be risky. You only have one day. But this is definitely something that, you know, you could throw $100 in there, see if I'm right, take that ride with me. But if you don't have 100 to spare, then definitely just stay on the sidelines. But I'm very confident that it's gonna push up. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little technical analysis, and I'll see you guys next time.